Hi, this is Kate with Kate's Paper Creations, here with my monthly paper pumpkin alternative ideas for January 2021. The new kit has come out. It's called Sending Hearts, and you can see from the flyer here that it comes with items to make 8 cards. And I'm going to show you some alternatives. It's kind of fun to get a box, and sometimes I just love the kit and I don't want to make any changes at all, but I still make alternatives because that seems to be the challenge that we all like to take on, is to see what can we make besides what they show us. And it's just a lot of fun to do. And sometimes, you know, everybody has different tastes, and so sometimes people don't necessarily fall in love with what the design is that's in the kit, but they'll see alternatives and it'll give them more ideas and show them the versatility. So that's why we do that. And I've got some to show you. I've got 5 different ones to show you. And if you aren't a Paper Pumpkin subscriber yet, I would love to have you subscribe with me. There's a link in the description below. Okay, let's get started. Now, first of all, I have to tell you, there were 2 card fronts in the kit. This one, lovely pink with some white stripes, and this is actually petal pink, and this is Poppy Parade, and that's the other one. Now, right out of the gate, I didn't care for this one very much. That's my personal taste. This was my favorite. So the first thing I did was take the majority of these cards and cut them in half so that I could make more than just one card out of this beautiful design. I do try to stay within the parameters of the kits as much as possible. You don't know how hard that is when you have a craft room like I do and you're an avid stamper. But for those of you that might not be collecting a room full of things, I do try to at least stay with the kit as much as I can. But that being said, basic white thick is kind of a standard thing that you want to have on hand, because I do a lot of extra card bases and then attach stuff to it. So that's kind of a basic item that if you're following me and making my kits, that's something you're going to want to have. Okay, first of all, let me show you the one that's made the way the kit suggested. And I did like these. These were very cute. And if I could make 8 of these, then I'd be perfectly thrilled. And there was a way you could have done that by cutting this particular cardstock in half, like I did here, and mounting it on a basic white piece. You could get 8 cards out with this background. And then there were more of these that you could do. The only problem was there's only 4 of these heart shapes. But you could get creative with that too, I'm sure. So that's the one that came the way the kit made it. That's made the way the kit said. Now let's get into my alternatives. Let's see if I can remember everything I was going to show you. Okay, this is my first one. And these heart strips that you see down the side are actually from the Lots of Heart bundle. They are still stamped with the Poppy Parade that comes with the kit, but I used this stamp to stamp these things down the side. So that has one item in it that is not from the kit. It also has one other item, and that is this little tag that comes in and out. It's Hi Valentine and Kisses and Hugs. I cut this out with the postage stamp punch, and I'm going to show you a little trick that I did. When you punch out those postage stamp punches, they're this long. And I wanted mine shorter. I wanted it 1.5 inches long. So here's what I did. After it was punched out, I took a sticky note and I'm attaching it to the sticky side to one side of the, find the sticky side, to one side of my piece. And then I'm going to, that gives me something to hold on to so I can put it in here. And I've made a slight mark right here where I want to cut. And you can put it in and get it in there so it'll go, there we go. And you can line up those notches on the side, and you just slightly press until you see them lining up, and then you punch it, peel off that, and there is your 1.5 inch piece that you can use for your Valentine tag. And you can also just punch a hole with any kind of hole punch. I have what's called a Japanese screw punch, and that's what I use to stamp the little hole like that in there. And then I used some of the ribbon that's in the kit and made a little tag there, and that goes inside. Now, how did I make that? I made that heart by taking apart one of the envelopes, and I used a die from that same Lots of Heart stamp and die set, and I used this heart, and I cut it out of the envelope, cut 2 of them, and then I I glued just from about here around the edges and stuck it together, so it created a pocket that this could slide into. This is in the stamp set, this heart shape design. I stamped it and I punched it out with that same die. It fits close enough that it looks really nice. And these are in the kit. They are these lovely little pink, petal pink embellishments. So this one did have some things that weren't in the kit, but you get to learn a little trick about how to make the punch work for you. And you can find out that the Lots of Hearts dies works pretty good with this set. So that's that one, and it's all just this piece cut in half, attached to a basic white thick card base. That's that card. Card number 2. This was kind of fun to do. This used that background, and it covered up enough of it that I was okay with that. And I used some Whisper White. And let me see if I can find my directions for what size I cut that piece. Let's see. Yeah, right here. Basic white, I cut it 3 by 3 wide by 4 1/4 tall. And then I used the Stitched with Whimsy dies. And I was looking for them to show you. They don't actually cut out. I don't have it out here, darn. Anyway, Stitched with Whimsy dies. They don't actually cut out. They just create the edging. So you've got to cut your piece to fit it, or else it just centers on something. And so I cut this to fit, and I cut it 3 by 4 3/4, and then that cute little stitching just fit all the way around. So that's that part. Then this is just some of those those are from the hearts called Resin Heart. Yeah, Resin Hearts. And they're in the new catalog. And there's some that are white and some that are pink or a darker red. I can't remember which. And I took my Poppy Parade dark blender pen and I colored 3 of the white ones and put those on here. So those are a non-kit item. This stamp is in your kit. This mailbox comes like this. And what I did, if I can find it, stuff just disappears off my table. I cut out, I took my X-Acto knife and I cut out the mailbox. I took scissors first of all, I guess, and I cut out the whole mailbox. Then I took my X-Acto knife and I cut away just the inside of this opening here. And left a little bit of a white edge here, so I took my marker and I just added it back in. And then I cut a piece from the piece that came out. I used it as a stencil to cut a piece of black and place behind it so that I had a black opening. I just liked it. It was really cool because I wanted to add my own envelope. This is just 1 1/2 by 3/4. I cut out one of the little tiny gold, one of the hearts here, and put it on there like a stamp. And then I did pull out that heart border from Lots of Heart and just stamped 2 of them on the edge. And then I added some scribbles so it looks like it's addressed. Then I also took my X-Acto and I cut a little tiny slit right here and just tucked the corner in. I think I would have liked to tuck it in a little bit more, but I just tucked the corner in like it's starting to go into the mailbox. And that's how I made that card. Next is this one. This is again just one of those fronts cut to fit the full front of the card. attached to a basic white thick standard A2. This heart square is in the kit. I stamped in the center with the stamp that came with the kit. I put these little corners on here from that really bright colored stuff. It just reminded me of having photo corners when I used to make scrapbooks with photo corners, and so I did that. And then this Happy Valentine's Day came from the Mint to Be stamp set, and this came from Ornate Frames, and I punched it out with that. So that's how I made that card. Then here's another one. You can tell which front was my favorite. I stuck with this front for just all of them. Again, I cut the mailbox out by hand. This time I didn't try to make the mailbox black. I cut a slit right on that black line right there, and I created a little envelope. And the way I did that is I just cut a piece of Whisper White, and it is like 1 inch by 5/8 of an inch. And then this little piece is 1 inch, and I just trimmed it to make it look like a flap. And then I stamped it with the stamp from the kit, and I attached it like this, so it looks like an envelope. And then you can see I put some little squiggles on there like it's been addressed, and of course that would be backwards, but we don't care. And I added that little tiny gold heart, again cut out from what comes out around the mailbox. This is the tags that are in Petal Pink, but I turned it over and used the white side. And there's dimensionals behind this entire mailbox. Oh yeah, and I did that with this one too. So I just cut the edges off really thin for this, and a piece of a mini dimensional went there, and then regular dimensionals went behind the rest of the mailbox, and that holds it up. Then this little gathering of flowers and hearts is a stamp in the set, and I just stamped it so it kind of looked like they were floating down towards the mailbox. And there's a few of those lovely Petal Pink embellishments that came with the kit. And that's card number 4. Then I follow 2 sites on Facebook, Paper Pumpkin Fan Club and Paper Pumpkin, I can't remember another one. Anyway, there's 2 of them. And somebody was posting, they love to post all their alternatives there as well. And somebody posted and says, has anybody made a non-Valentine card with the stuff from the kit? So I took it on as a challenge, and this is what I came up with. I took the card front, and I cut those strips 1/4 of an inch wide, the length, and I cut them on the diagonal so they'd be long enough to fit. And I cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 strips there. Then I cut, by itself, it didn't have enough dimension. So then I cut Whisper White 3/8 of an inch, and I layered them on there, and then I layered them on the piece, and the end stuck out past. So when I got done, I trimmed off all the edges, and then I wanted some kind of a sentiment on the front. So I took my mini messages die set and stamp set, and I only needed 1. I didn't need to make a whole set. So I just took and used the marker for Poppy Parade, and I colored the one I wanted, and I just took my piece of cardstock and I just laid it on there and pressed it, and it worked perfect. And then I put it in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and layered this over the part I had stamped, and tacked it down with washi tape and cut it out. And I just cut it just barely bigger than I needed, so I didn't waste a lot of cardstock doing it, and it gave me the 1 sentiment I needed. And I just put it on there on the diagonal, and it says, hoping your day is full of love, joy, laughter, and joy. So it could be a birthday, it could be just about anything, graduation or anything. But it's a non-Valentine card. So I think I won that challenge. I'm not sure. You'll have to tell me what you think. Those are my alternatives. Let me bring them back in one at a time and just show them to you. Maybe linger a little bit so you can see them really well. That one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I had a lot of fun making these. You should have seen my desk when I got done. It was a terrible mess. I had to clean it up and make room so I could show you what I had done. I'm glad you stopped by. I hope if you haven't subscribed to my blog that you will. And again, if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to have you shop with me. And my information is in the box below. Oh, I didn't tell you about what I do with my envelopes. I took that cute little cluster of hearts and flowers, and I put a piece of sticky note on there to mark off the edge of the envelope, and I stamped the flap of my envelope so that my envelope goes with my cards. And that's always a nice touch, because then when somebody gets it in the mail, they're already smiling before they ever open it up. Thanks again for coming by. Talk to you soon.